Hey everybody, how we all doing? Andrew, Faux Daddy, Garrett, Mr. Brees, I owe you an email, brother. I apologize. Today totally got away from me, man. David, Rain Cat, Scotty John, bless y'all, bless y'all, bless y'all. I want to thank everybody. John Slatton, shalom, brother. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're back, at least for the time being. As a brief programming note, we will not have a live stream Thursday, as Thursday will be the conclusion of the Feast of Unleavened Bread for us. So no live stream Thursday, but we will be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday in the evenings. So thanks for bearing with us. With that, thank you guys for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. That helps all of us on the YouTube algorithm. They really don't like us. I've been getting a lot of emails. Hey, Bear, what happened to the daily brief from 10 April? It failed to convert from a live stream to a video, and there's nothing I can do about that. It either converts from a live stream to a video or it doesn't. Very rarely will it not convert. In this case, it did not convert from a live stream to an uploaded video. Once it's gone, it's gone. So it's in the ether somewhere. I didn't delete it. I have no reason to delete it. It just didn't process. It never processed from a live stream to a video. So thank you to all of our patrons. You boys and girls are the reason we continue to do this on YouTube. YouTube just makes it such a pain in our butt to do business with them. And make no mistake, that's what it is. It's an exchange of time and money and energy. So if you're not treating it like a business, it ain't gonna go well for you. And so YouTube makes it very difficult for us to play in their sandbox. And so thank you to all the patrons for helping us do this. Shout out to the dance monkeys at bearindependent.com. Excuse me, intel@bearindependent.com is your email address for actionable intel. Intel@bearindependent.com. Now, intel report for 13 April 2020. Overview. The number of confirmed cases worldwide in the U.S. continues to climb. As of the time of this reporting, the official numbers are as follows. Global cases are 1.917 million. Global deaths are 119,000. Global recoveries, 441,000. U.S. cases are 583,411. U.S. deaths, 23,462. And U.S. recoveries, 34,664. Some countries are considering the possibility of having immunity passports or immunity certificates issued to those who have recovered from the coronavirus. There are also inflammatory mentions and rumors about a mandatory vaccine. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now as far as mandatory vaccine goes, but regardless of what's in it, I'm not taking a mandatory vaccine. You don't get to tell me what I do with my body or my wife's body or my children's bodies. It's not happening. So, yeah, no thanks. Both Florida and New Jersey have announced that they would use drones to locate and break up social distancing violations. The police in Elizabeth, New Jersey, clarified that the drones would not record or take pictures, but play a pre-recorded message demanding anyone in the area disperse. The drones in Florida can detect body temperatures. I'll tell you, the longer this goes on, the less tolerance I have for the government being governmenty. Now, I'll also tell you this, as stated before over and over again, the number one way that the government doesn't have to get all governmenty here is when we act like big kids. And if you're sick, stay home. But I'm really, from a religious freedom standpoint, really getting to the point where I'm over this whole, you don't get to tell people they can't go to church. You just don't. And if you don't get to tell people that they can't go to church, I don't think you get to tell people that they can't go anywhere else either. So that then becomes a personal responsibility game. And so number 4 shot would probably work really well on these drones. I don't know that for a fact, but 12 gauge, 2 3/4 number 4 shot would probably, in a hypothetical world, be just right for drone elimination. In Philadelphia, police were called to remove a man after he had repeatedly refused to leave a SEPTA, Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Authority, I'm guessing, SEPTA, bus because he was not wearing a mask per the statewide mandate. The video of the incident went viral and the initial mandate was reversed due to the negative publicity. Riders are now strongly encouraged to wear a mask rather than required to wear a mask. Indianapolis, Indiana has more cases per capita than Chicago. It is believed that this higher rate of infection is because there are 3 interstates going through the city and many travelers entering from places like Chicago, Detroit, and Louisville. There is drone footage of trench diggings and mass burials on Hart Island. The usual rate of burial on the island is 25 per week, but currently it is around 24 per day, or roughly 7 times more than usual. New York City has shortened the amount of time it will hold unclaimed remains before they are buried in the city's public cemetery to 14 days. So Hart Island, for those that don't know, I think technically it's in the Bronx. And it's been all kinds of things. There's a decent wiki page on it, but it is essentially now a potter's field. It is a cemetery, public cemetery, run by the city for people who have unclaimed remains. Homeless, destitute, the poor, the sick. When nobody claims them, they go there. And so I find it interesting that there are 7 times as many bodies being buried there as usual, allegedly. And then the concept of digging mass graves, I don't really want to jump down that rabbit hole, but sometimes, a lot of times, when you're digging for a lot of bodies, it's easier to dig a trench than it is to dig individual graves. It's faster to dig a trench. You dig something that looks like this, you dig a trench, and then you lay each body in like so, and then you put a marker where each body is, and then you lay the dirt back over the top. And so from an efficiency standpoint, the digging of mass graves, i.e. digging trenches that are 6 or 7 foot wide and 6 foot deep, is, while it seems calloused, it's a highly efficient way to do it. So I'm not losing my mind over that. Although a 700% increase allegedly in the number of bodies being buried is significant. President Trump has said that he plans to announce a, quote, opening our country council, end quote, comprised of business leaders, doctors, and perhaps political leaders to help determine how to reopen the economy. But he has also stated that they will not be doing anything until they know the country will be healthy. So, as stated repeatedly, I believe that we are reaching the point where they are going to have to, for economic reasons and political reasons, let people go back to work. They're just going to have to. The economic ramifications of shutting the country down, and I heard somewhere that it's really like 70% of the businesses are still operating. Still, the downstream effects of shutting down 30% of the country's economy is not good. So they're going to have to let people go back to work. And it seems like they're starting to consider that. And I feel like, my gut feel, I don't have any intel pointing in this direction, but my gut is by the end of this month, you're going to hear a lot of rhetoric about, we got to get Americans back to work. We've just got to get Americans back. We've got to get Americans back to work. It's time to get America back to work. Make America work again, or whatever. 2+ eyewitness accounts. Under the heading of continuity of infrastructure and supply chains, it has been reported that FedEx, Smithfield, and Tyson are experiencing closures, delays, and or backups due to not having enough healthy workers to keep product moving as swiftly as normal. Many parts of the supply chain must temporarily close to sanitize when an employee becomes ill or work with partial staffing for social distancing or self-isolation reasons. This will likely have effects on the overall supply of various goods and services, particularly meat, due to the long production periods it requires. I shot a video I shot a video for Patreon this morning that a patron asked in response to an Ice Age Farmer video. And I'm a fan of Christian at Ice Age Farmer. I think he does good work. And I don't know how big his channel is right now, but it should be 10 times the size that it is right now. He puts a good product out. But I shot a video giving my opinion on his alleged statements that the global food production industries are gonna basically go away after this COVID-19 thing. And I don't believe that to be the case. For more on that, you can watch that video on Patreon. In Florida, thousands of acres of farm produce is being left to rot in the fields as the closure of restaurants and schools have greatly reduced sales. That's just a logistics thing. 42 states have essential services only travel restrictions, stay-at-home orders, shelter-in-place orders, or similar official proclamations. 3 states have certain areas under restriction, or entire areas under partial restriction. 5 states remain with no official orders, merely advisories. Many places have enacted curfews and have begun travel checkpoints. Some areas have also barred recreational travel, and others, such as Montana and Rhode Island, have enacted a mandatory 14-day quarantine for non-commercial travelers once they enter the area. The Texas Department of Public Safety began COVID-19 checkpoints on all roadways entering Texas from Louisiana. In various areas of the country, stay-at-home orders are being enforced by local police. Penalties range from warnings to fines and or jail time of varying degrees depending upon local laws. Many school closures and executive orders have been extended across the country. Michigan's governor has extended the restrictions by 30 days and increased the restrictions to include new occupancy limits, deeming gardening, paint, and flooring as, quote, non-essential, unquote, and banning travel between 2 residents as well as family visits between residences. The legislature granted an extension through 30 April rather than the 70-day extension requested by the governor. 2 days later, the governor extended and expanded the order. Good job, Governor. Not. The Kansas Supreme Court upheld the executive order banning religious services of more than 10 people. Starting to get pissed off about this. And I'm trying to find the words to convey how I feel in such a way that isn't just me screaming at an iPhone. We have to get people back to work. Well people. We have to let well people go to church, worship. And the people that are sick need to police themselves rather than be policed by the government. I'm very much so a leave me the hell alone and I will leave you the hell alone. I won't bother you, you don't bother me. I won't tell you how to live your life, you don't tell me how to live my life. But telling people they can't go to church, is there anything less American? Isn't that how we got here in the first place? Now, maybe my perceived taste for authoritarianism has changed over the last few weeks. Or maybe I've just reached my boiling point with this. But you have to let people worship as they see fit. The end. It's core, central to who we are and what we do and how we behave. And if we keep this up, the tree of liberty will likely get watered sooner than later. I don't see how you do this for an extended period of time and not have serious ramifications. I mean serious ramifications. In Ohio, nearly 100 protesters demanded a statewide return to normal at the State House, where most lawmakers and government employees have kept their jobs. Many were masked and most stayed 6 feet away from each other in accordance with state guidelines. The protest was planned without a permit. State troopers kept their distance from both the protesters and one another. Kentucky's governor warned that anyone attending a church service would have to quarantine for 14 days. He ordered police to take down license plate numbers in church parking lots and provide that information to health departments, which would then enforce the quarantines. How about no? How about kiss my ass, Kentucky? How about no? Sworn to uphold the Constitution. Defended against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Now I get it, we're in a state of emergency, and that all goes out the window during a state of emergency, but we hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal and they have the right? Life, liberty to come and go as you please, to worship as you please, and the pursuit of happiness. That is bullshit, Kentucky. And y'all in Kentucky need to let your governor know. Because if we keep this up, normal men, normal women are going to lose it. In Greenville, Mississippi, church drive-in attendees were ticketed $500 even though they stayed in their cars with the windows rolled up throughout the service. The church has sued the city of Greenville. Good. Indiana business owners could be arrested and jailed for up to 180 days if they violate the newest COVID-19 order. They will first get a verbal warning, then a cease and desist letter, then a removal of their license or permit, and finally criminal charges. Maine's June primary has been moved to the 14th of July so voters can have more time to request an absentee ballot. More on absentee ballots in a minute. Wisconsin's governor has closed state parks and forests due to crowds, litter, and vandalism. New Jersey's governor has halted non-essential construction, mandated all stores to limit capacity to 50%, and all customers and employees inside of stores to wear facial coverings. Under the heading of military, Fort Bragg has ceased to release coronavirus numbers and has implemented visitor restrictions. Meanwhile, more soldiers from Fort Bragg have headed to New York City after its deadliest day of the coronavirus outbreak with 731 deaths. Under the heading of medical, remember that the number of tests that are positive tests that are being reported are much lower than the actual tests. This is a function of only a minority of cases being tested and the lag time between testing and reporting, as discussed earlier, is up to 14 days. I personally know of somebody whose parents both have COVID-19 symptoms. They both went to the doctor, and the doctor said, we're just going to test one of you, because if one of you has it, the other one definitely has it. And so if they test positive, there will be one test, not two, because they didn't want to waste the time, money on two tests, just one. So that's one personal example that I know of that's underreporting of 100% right there. 2 Pittsburgh scientists have come up with a possible vaccine for the virus that could be shipped worldwide without refrigeration and could be applied like a Band-Aid. They are awaiting the FDA's approval for a skin patch. It uses 400 microneedles made out of proteins to deliver the antigen through the skin. I'd like to know, and I did a little bit of research, just a little bit of research, and I didn't see it. I'd like to know what kind of protein those microneedles are made out of. A nurse in New Jersey started a GoFundMe campaign and raised $12,485 and bought PPE for the ICU nurses at her facility. The nurses were overjoyed, but the administrators suspended her for, quote, distributing unauthorized protective gear, unquote. 2 of her colleagues spoke out and said they were never told that obtaining their own PPE was at all prohibited. The hospital has reinstated the nurse and has claimed that their staff has all protection that they need. And a preliminary study shows that countries with BCG vaccines, a 100-year-old vaccine which prevents tuberculosis, have COVID-19 infection rates up to a 100-fold lower than countries without such policies. The cause for this is still unknown. Gotta take a moment to hydrate, and my dome is getting chilly. There we go. That's a little better. Oh no, here comes a dog. Hey Dad, am I famous yet? All right, Sam, good job. Oh gosh. Hi Dad, am I on the internet? Can I have a drink? What are we doing? Is it report time? All right, go get some yonder. Go. We're not friends anymore. Come on, Dad. All right, get out of here, dog. There we go. Go on. Societal and general. Prisons. Riots, standoffs, and hunger strikes are occurring in some of the nation's prisons. In Kansas City, Missouri, 20 inmates at a prison where at least 26 people have contracted coronavirus, quote, rampaged through offices, breaking windows and setting small fires, unquote, for several hours before the facility was secured. And in Washington State, there was a riot of about 100 inmates after 6 tested positive. Inmates at 4 prisons in Oregon have filed a lawsuit against the state's governor and the Department of Corrections, accusing officials of not providing adequate medical care. Some medical facilities, police departments, and fire departments are not reporting virus cases or staffing issues at all. In some cases, hospital administrators have forbidden their staff to voice their opinions to the public in order to facilitate calm. I have it on firsthand reporting from a law enforcement officer I know that in his area, he's seen a significant increase in the number of violent crimes and domestic cases. Significant. Police in Delaware are pulling over Pennsylvanians coming into the state to buy alcohol and other non-essentials which are banned in Pennsylvania but allowed in Delaware. What the hell is happening in this country? In Colorado, a man was arrested for playing softball with his wife and 6-year-old daughter in an empty park. This violated no established rules by the state or the park. He was released after 10 minutes in the back of a cop car, but this has sparked concern about police overreach. You think? Food banks around the nation have experienced a steep drop-off in donations from supermarkets and farms, which are their main contributors. Among the food banks affiliated with Feeding America, 92% were seeing an increased need, and 64% said their food donations had declined. So 9 out of 10 have an increased need, and 6.5 out of 10 have fewer goods to meet the need with. 3 large tubs of ballots to be sent to absentee voters in Wisconsin were located at a mail processing center in Milwaukee after the polls had closed. So those never were counted. They were never sent to be filled out in the first place. Breitbart reported, quote, foreign nationals held in immigration and customs enforcement custody are self-deporting from the United States to avoid potential infection with the Chinese coronavirus, unquote. And repeating, some people are traveling hundreds of miles from hard-hit areas to acquire all the things that they can't buy in their areas, or to bug out, and then are spreading this virus all over the dang place. And first responders and medical staff that test positive or show symptoms have to self-quarantine in many places, which is vastly decreasing the number of people that are available to respond to this coronavirus threat. Now, there's a lot more to this report. The entirety of this report is available on Patreon. Go to patreon.com, look for the bear logo, just look for Bear Independent on Patreon. You'll find us. We're there. $1 or more a month gets you access to this report and every report prior to this. Minimum of 24 exclusive pieces of content per month. A lot more than that lately. And so forth and so on. $5 and up gets you in on the loot box giveaway every month. The whole idea behind Patreon is to democratize a preparedness consultancy so that you get to ask questions of me and I get to answer them for the benefit of the class. And rather than paying $5,000 to have a consultation with somebody, you pay $1. You ask a question, you get an answer. And there's hundreds and hundreds of videos already at Patreon. And our goal is to over-deliver value. It's not for everybody, but I guarantee you at least 8 out of 10 people stick around and enjoy it. Worst case scenario, you're out $1. It's no big deal. But the entirety of this report is on Patreon. I am not going to go through the single account, insider intel, and miscellaneous now for both time and because the entirety of this report is on Patreon. So with that, I do want to thank the Dance Monkeys who put this report together. Intel@bearindependent.com. If you have actionable intel you'd like to share, intel@bearindependent.com is your address. Thank you, guys and girls, for being here. Really, thank you. I would like to point out that I'm honored that we get to do this regularly, and this is what we prepared for. Maybe not pandemic, but the only things that I've shot have been possums trying to eat my chickens, and a guinea hen, which I ate myself, and a sheep. Shot a sheep, ate it. It was delicious. And a rooster too. Shot a rooster and I ate him too. Okay, so I haven't killed any people. Killed a lot of animals, but I haven't killed any people. There are no golden hordes out in my, out in the street out there. There's no zombies. What there is the need to store food, the need to grow food, the need for community, the need for commo, the need for organization and for mutual assistance. And boy, I pray we never get to the golden hordes and the zombies. I'm not really interested in any of that nonsense. But this is why we do this. We're here now. I hope that we're not here for much longer, but we're here now. And that's okay. Is it ideal? No, it's not ideal at all. There's a lot of things that are really starting to piss me off about this coronavirus thing. But we're here now. This is why we prep. No pants on fire syndrome. No breathless, yeah, but Bear, did you hear about that, blah, blah, blah. None of that. This is why we do this. And thank you for supporting us in the doing of this, so that there are more voices of reason in the preparedness community for normal people, the average Joe, to be able to hopefully get some sound information and value out of a half an hour of his or her time, rather than 14 reasons why the zombies are gonna rape your dog and eat your children on the coronavirus outbreak, pandemic, blah, blah. So thank you for being here. Check us out on Patreon. Check out the web store. We are still shipping out of the web store. I'm waiting on 10 cases of Quick Clot to arrive for the fulfillment of Bear Facts. Our suppliers told us, yeah, we got stuff in stock. We ordered, and they were like, oh, we had a little bit less than we thought. It's coming. It's just been delayed about a week. So hang with us on that. But I got 10 cases, so we'll have a little bit extra. So if you need a custom-built, handmade, guaranteed forever IFAC, check us out at bearindependent.com. That being said, we're still within the quoted fulfillment window on Bear Facts, so no biggie. I'm just letting y'all know. Patches, stickers, t-shirts, thumb drives, scriptures, all that is available at the web store. Scriptures at our cost, by the way. We don't make a dime on those. What did we do since the last time we talked? Well, we've been working on siding on the side of the house, as you can see. Peeled off 2 old layers of siding, and we've got some zip board to put up after today. We celebrated Passover. It was freaking awesome. We are in the midst of celebrating unleavened bread. It's freaking awesome. Eating a lot of matzah. We made hummus. It was delicious. Been working on fencing here and elsewhere, and gardening here and elsewhere. Been doing more ham radio stuff. Lots of fellowshipping, lots of Shabbats, lots of Sabbaths. Shot some Patreon videos. We played a lot of Catan. Great game, Catan. Newsflash, Bear wins. I will trade you sheep for wood. Had some Zoom hangouts, which is pretty cool. My neighbor worked on my truck, which was awesome, because I was going to take my truck to the truck place, but then the world ended. So my neighbor, being a Class A tinkerer, tinkered on my truck, and it was awesome. I built an AR pistol, and we got our septic tank pumped, because, you know, didn't actually want the shit to hit the fan. I wanted it to stay in the tank. So that's what we've done since last we talked. We will be here. Today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No brief on Thursday because it's the closing Sabbath, high Sabbath of unleavened bread. And then we'll be here Friday before sundown. So thank you and for being with us for this. Please share this with people who need a breath of fresh air and a deep breath and some calm amidst the chaos of this stupid coronavirus thing. Let's pray. Father Yah, thank you for this time. Thank you for the opportunity to just come before you and praise you. Thank you for being sovereign over all things, including this pandemic and this government response and our individual responses, Father. I pray that you just alleviate any fear, doubt, concern, agitation, anxiety, angst, just the that people are feeling, Father. That you would bring us the peace that surpasses all understanding, the Comforter, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, Father. I pray that you'd be indwelt in us, that we would be the light on the hill. People would see us and go, I don't know what they have, but I want some. We would use this opportunity to minister to people that we know and that we love, to testify to people that we've never met before, to do mighty things for your kingdom, Father. Father, I pray that if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, both here on property or everywhere I'm being heard this very moment, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, it would be rebuked in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. I command it to flee and be gone. Father, fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh. Walk with us in the cool of the day. Teach us how to be better children of you. Father, thank you for redemption and restoration through your Son, Yeshua Messiah. Thank you for using broken people to serve your kingdom. And Father, thank you that above all things, you're still in charge. We ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Bless y'all. Shalom.